Hello and welcome back, Josh, Sam and anyone else who's watching to the second attempt at recording this video. This is Lviv and Let Die. We are here a little bit later than I expected and I intended, and I informed that we would be. I said that we would be back for these two games, Prikapatia and Tovik. The reason I wasn't was because I did do a recording of those two. It's just I didn't press record. Luckily, I suppose that's kind of good. We drew 2-2, having come back from 2-0 down, and we lost 2-1 to Naftovik, who are about 14th in the league. So, pretty poor. Let's show you where we are. We are currently 4th on 36 points. If we go back to the results, I'll just run you through the brief way the first half of the league went. We won the first two games. We got knocked out in the first round of the Ukrainian Cup to non-league Yednist Pliski. We then went on a little bit of a it was super inconsistent, right? So win, loss, draw. Particularly two of those draws, that one and that one. We really should have won. They're against two weak teams. Vorskla are okay, but the other two teams are very poor. We then won 2-1, 5-3, and then lost 1-0, of course. And then we won 1-0, and then we lost 4-3, and then we drew 2 games 1-1. We then went on a 4-game winning run, meaning that I felt like I was in a good position for our last record. I didn't press record, and that sort of fed into the theme of the episode where we didn't win either. In that episode, I discussed a few players who I thought we would probably lose. I discussed the financial situation of the club, and I sort of made a couple of conclusions, one of which was it seems like we're going to have to sell some players in order to keep the club afloat. We were £1.7 million in debt at the time. And I was sort of commenting that I was expecting to sell 1 or 2 players to try and sort of make a little dent in that, just see how things are going. But it's not the case that is what happened. So here we are. I'll show you what happened. Basically, these 4 guys left. These 5 guys, 6 guys left at the beginning of the season. We then got rid of some players. Most of the it's actually all the way up to Berezovsky. Right, so we sold initially Louis de Leon for £160,000 to Nevezis, who are a team in the Lithuanian First Division. We then sold Alfonso Torres after having played, what did he play for us? 7 games. We sold him for £250,000 to Klaipėda, who are playing in the Lithuanian A League, which I think is their version of the Premier League. Then, even more excitingly, we sold Vasil Telegin on a free. I didn't actually realise that we were making this deal. He was playing really well. If we look at his average ratings for the season so far, he'd been on a 6.97. He'd been doing very good. I had been constantly. He was also the only player that we had who was playing on a non-contract, and I couldn't work out why. And I thought it might have been a glitch, so I had sort of refreshed the game files, tried to offer him a new contract. He continually turned one down, and then by the time that I finally managed to get into proper contract negotiations with him, he had already been offered a contract with Vedrich Rechista in the Belarusian highest division. So he's gone, unfortunately. It's a shame. He was doing okay for us. We also lost Pedro Risso, £250,000 sale to Nizhny Novgorod in the Russian First Division. Not a bad bit of business. He wasn't doing brilliant. He was doing fine, actually. That's completely lie. 3 goals, 2 assists, 17 appearances, 6.96 rating, not bad. Although the fans didn't like him. When he was sold, we got a notification that said that the fans were happy that he had gone. So fine. They paid way over the odds for him, because you see there he's worth only £60,000, but he's on a lot more money, and so well done him. We also sold Franck Aurier. He spent the first half of the season entirely injured. He made 1 appearance, which I think was in the last video we recorded. Let me just check that the video is actually recording. Clickety click, it is. So he made 1 appearance, scored 1 goal, and then was injured and was out for the entirety of the rest of the first half of the season. We sold him to Dynamo Barnaul, who are also a Russian First Division side, for £500,000. Not bad at all, considering he's only played 32 games for us. We got rid of him. He's 6'7", the kind of centre-back I kind of like, but he's on a lot more money now, and it saves us a little bit of dollar. Similarly, Hey, what?
Keksiki.
You want to come and talk on the video?
What are you doing?
I'm recording my video. Do you want to come and say hi?
Hi, yes.
Masha says hi.
Hello.
Hello. No? Okay, you going? Alright, okay. I was trying to convince Masha to do a video, but she was scared about the sound of her own voice, and so she didn't want to. So we sold Franck Aurier. We also sold, in a surprising turn of events, which would have been more surprising had we recorded the previous video properly, but we also sold Hershey's 5-0, who has gone on a £500,000 deal to Yenisei. Probably could have sold him for more, considering you can see his value is still £500,000. But yeah, he was playing very well for us. He has now gone to the Russian First Division for Yenisei, who are fine. That's good. I mean, that's not a bad bit of money. That's £1 million just between those two players. We also sold Krzysztof Szalai. I went into quite a lot of detail about why I was thinking we might try and sell him in the last video. Briefly, he didn't do very well for us. 17 appearances, 7.21 rating. Yeah, fine. He was on 4 goals up until about 3 games towards the end of the first half of the season. And those 7 assists came in the first sort of 4 games. Like, he was on an absolute tear. He then went on a barren run that lasted for a very long time and then scored a couple of goals at the end of the first half of the season. So he has decent stats, but it all came in little bunches. He was very inconsistent, and he would often play quite badly. He just had a couple of very high-rated games. Anyway, the point is we made some money off him, £160,000. We probably could have made more. He also went to a Lithuanian team. No, he went back to Hungary. Sorry, he went back to Hungary to play for Vasas. So fair enough to him. Off you go, fella. He's also been way overpriced. He's only worth £16,000 now. We got rid of Vasil Lazar, who I don't think you'll have recognised. He was one of the youth players we brought in last season. We brought... Oh, and then the last one, the surprising one, was Amiran Labadze, who at £750,000 I couldn't really turn down. We signed him on a free. He played 10 games for us. Didn't do brilliantly well. He did okay. And we sold him for nearly £1 million on his own. He's obviously a good player, but I'm kind of happy with the money we got for him. It's probably better in the long run for the club to be sort of in the black rather than have a couple of players who are overpriced and stuff and whatever. So anyway, he's gone off to Azerbaijan. And then we also sold Oleg Voloshin, who I think was another youth player, so whatever. So that's the outs. We brought in £2.6 million, which is the most Lviv have ever brought in. And then we brought in a bunch of other players. So we'll go through them in varying degrees of detail. So the other thing that we missed from the fact that the last video didn't record is that I had brought in about 10 players on trial during that video and also before that video, and I was talking about which ones I was thinking I might sign. So you're just going to find out now. I signed a few of them. So we signed Miroljub Miletic, a decent centre-back there from Serbia, coming in on a free. He's not on super wages. He's on decent wages, but now we have some money so we can afford it. And he's quite tall. I like that. And he's a decent player. He will probably end up being sold, but you know that is seemingly the way that most of our players go anyway. We also brought in an actual stellar signing, Uriel Suarez from Uruguay. He's already had a brief period of going away because he's upset about the fact that he's moved from Uruguay to to Ukraine. But you know, hopefully he'll do all right. 6 foot tall, excellent. He's already played very, very well in his winter break games, the few that he did play. And so I'm looking forward to getting some money out of him at the very least. But you know, he might also be able to fire us into the Premier League. We signed Alexei Pinchuk, a striker, because at the time I thought... so that basically, just to quickly run through how it worked, I sold a couple of players and we were not quite out of the red. And so I thought, let's not go mad. Let's just bring in 1 or 2 defenders and have our foreign players just be the centre-backs and 1 midfielder. So let's get in some Ukrainian players to play up front. So I brought in Alexei Pinchuk. He's a decent player. He played previously for Arsenal. He's also a Dynamo Kiev prospect, so you know he does have some pedigree, but he's not played brilliantly so far. Anyway, the point being, he should be fine. He's kind of been superseded by things how they went further on, but let's see how that goes. Speaking of which, one of the players we had on trial was Adam Nemeth. He's a decent finisher. He's not great at much else. He's quick and speedy and able to finish. We brought him in on a free from Ujpest. He's not played brilliantly in our non-competitive games, but regardless, we'll probably be able to sell him for some money. So none of these things are bad. Again, another player, Andres Kopka. He's come in with a fairly low wage. He's another foreign player, Latvian. He's not done anything very special in his 3 substitute appearances off the bench in our non-competitive games. But he has got a decent rating. He's actually quite a nice, fine player. Again, we can probably make some money out of him, so that's what I'm hoping for. We then signed Zsolt Kovac, who is very similar to Nemeth, a little bit more physical, a little bit less creative, and slightly better in the air, but mostly the same. So, look forward to him being sold soon. Then we brought in another player. This was still when I was thinking we would mostly be trying to sign some Ukrainians in this window. We brought in Sergei the Dude Dudchenko. So let's give him his nickname now. The Dude. Ooh, not the Foot, the Dude. So Sergei Dudchenko, or the Dude, he's come in. He's a striker. He's valued at £10,000. Not quite sure why. He's got a good bit of potential. A couple of the Ukrainian players I brought in do have decent potential. So, yeah. But yeah, so he's decent, and hopefully he'll get a couple of games this season and maybe next season, but he's probably going to be a backup. We then signed an actually good Ukrainian, Denis Aboyko. He's a right midfielder. He's coming in from the Premier League. He was previously playing for Gomel for a long time in the Belarusian top division, but he's also played in Karpaty, who are our local rivals from the city of Lviv. He's not bad. Hopefully he will be okay. He broke his arm in our mid-season winter break, but because the break is so long, it's about 4 months long, he was able to come back again from injury. He was able to sign for us, break his arm, and then come back. So great. So hopefully that's his big injury out of the way and he'll be good, but he's probably going to be our starting right midfielder now. We then signed a pretty imposing player, Thomas Mamurov, from the Czech Republic. He's physically imposing. He's great defensively and in the air for this division. And he's already scored 5 goals in 10 non-competitive appearances for us. So I'm hoping against hope that he might be able to help us score some goals from set pieces. He's just a bit of a tank, and I'm looking forward to playing him in the team. So he's come in. We also signed Vasil Chaban, who is a defensive midfielder. He's very much backup. He's played a couple of games from the bench, not played brilliantly, but this is the way it is. He probably won't get that many games for us on the first team, but he's not intended to. Then a player with some decent potential here, Nikolai Tibilov. When I realised that we had lost Telegin, I realised we had to get in a new Ukrainian defensive midfield position player. So that's this guy's the future of that position, at least if we have to spend another year in the first division, which is possible. Nikolai Tibilov, he has come in from Ilichevets from the Premier League, and he should be okay. I see that all of his things have gone down except for his first touch, but I think he'll be all right. He'll play a little bit and he'll be okay. We then signed South African Liabang Radibi. Decent player. He's a bit like one of the... I think I signed a South African for Shlonsk. I think he was South African anyway. Who was sort of slow but great at finishing and great in the air. And this is basically our version of him in this iteration, this particular team. Radaby, he scored an absolute stunner. So the one goal you can see there was an absolute stunner. He will be good. He is currently out for 5 to 6 weeks with a sprained ankle, so we won't get to see much of him probably this season. But when he comes back, we'll at least be able to sell him for some decent Wonga. We also signed Hugo Delgado, the Paraguayan central midfielder. Nothing super special about him. He's got decent potential. He's also high on his estimated value, and he's got some pretty good technical stats. So I'm hoping that he can sort of play as a substitute for us this season at least, and then maybe we can sell him, or maybe he can take over the attacking midfield role next year. Oh my goodness me. Then we brought in Ricardo Figueroa, who is awesome. He's quick, he's great in the air, he's good as attacker, His finishing is 17. His composure isn't perfect, but it is what it is. Let's go in here. He's already training on his composure, Sam, so you don't have to tell me that on WhatsApp. He scored 7 goals in 7 appearances. He's quality. He's going to score a lot of goals for us. He's on a lot of money, but even so, I think in his contract he has a £1 million release fee. Yeah, so no, even better. So higher division clubs is the only release fee he has is higher division clubs, £2.5 million. So we'll get some money out of him, even if he doesn't do brilliantly. If he does do brilliantly, we'll get money out of him. There's no way that can fail, so great. And then finally, we signed Saif Ben Jemia. He's a decent goalkeeper from Tunisia. He probably won't play. We'll probably sell him immediately as soon as we get to the end of the season, but here he is. He's arguably better than our 2 current goalkeepers, but the thing is I don't want to play a foreign player in that defensive goalkeeping position. So that's the squad. I'll show you now how we're planning to line up. In fact, I haven't actually prepared it properly yet because I was in a bit of a rush to record this video before I think I'm giving my mic away for a brief loan to a friend. So let's sort things out now. This is how I've been lining up at least the starting 11. Out you guys come. Let's just go like this. Clear everybody, and then we'll go through as we want. So we want to have Kornienko there, and we want to have Miletic there as well. The plan basically is to have our 2 defensive players as foreigners because they're where we have the best foreign players. Then what we need to do is we need to have... Where is he? So we've got... Where is he? Can't see him. Your friend of mine, Tabilov, he's already in the team. We'll bring in Petrovic. We'll bring in Konstantinov, who I thought I had sold, but apparently that sale didn't go through. I must have missed the particular thing that said that he wasn't going anywhere. And I think we want outspoken Sergei in the side, and then we want to go up front. We've got a big lot of players to choose from now. I think it's probably going to be Kopka, who's been playing pretty well for us. Right, so that's the squad. That's how we're going to line up. That's how we're going to start. Boyko starting there on the right. We've got Mamurov, Suarez, Tibilov, and Figueroa up front. We're going to have to give some numbers to players. I'm not going to be too interested in who plays in what number, especially now where the players will be sold after only playing 12 or 15 games anyway. So here we go. Yeah, the good thing is, so we brought in £2.6 million worth of player, and that means that we came out of debt. So we were £1.7 million in debt. We brought in a bunch of players, but obviously our sort of wage structures have changed slightly. We're back down to being about £300,000 in the black, so that's good. We're still having made money this season. The one problem being that we, I think, are losing money now. I'm not 100% sure why, because our wage budget is still below the actual full budget. So, or rather, our wage total is currently below the potential, below the limit of what we're allowed to be paying for wages. But unfortunately, this does mean that we are somehow losing some money. Possibly to do with the 3-year new stadium build, which has been planned by the club. I've also I I did the classic Śląsk Wrocław Wheatland thing. Oh, Levchuk goes through. No, he doesn't get tackled. I did the classic Wheatland thing of asking for a new contract. I said the players want to know that I'll be here when they sign, and the board said no, they don't, shut up, and they wouldn't give me a new contract. I got a bit annoyed. Then I sold the Georgian fella and got in nearly another £1 million in terms of money for the club. And I went back to them and said, can I have a new contract? And they were like, hell yeah, you can. And instead of giving me a 1-year extension like they did last time, they gave me a 4-year extension. So my contract now runs until the mid-2060s. I've got quite a bit of job security, which is good. These guys have got Generalov. There he is. He's going to score as well. No, he's not. Okay, well then, look at the butterman. These guys, I think, are second or not. If they're top, if they're not, they're top. Okay, so... yeah, we probably, I mean, obviously, ideally, we need to win here to try and keep pace with those two at the top there, because there's only the top two go up. But, you know, it is what it is. Figueroa, He's scored on his debut, only the 7 goals in pre-season that he scored as well. Lovely, lovely stuff. I'm swinging my hand in the air. 16 minutes gone. FC Lviv 1, Arsenal Kiev 1, 0. Shut up. God, that was could have been so good. Anyway, 39 points. I think we beat Govela, so I don't know why we're behind them in terms of goal difference. But whatever. We'll just ignore that. I'm only going to play one game in this video. We did quite a lot of chat about the squad, and also I've got some people coming over in the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes. It might be that they come. It might be that they come during the recording, in which case you'll get to hear them, but hopefully not. 36. Whoa, that was a big jump. 36 minutes gone. Generalov, looking at the team that he could have been part of. Suarez, and it's only my fault that he's not. Timofeyev. Polyakov, Janus, Mazes. He's like the Jesus, but born in May. No! Great save. Great save. Figueroa now. Gives it to Boyko. What's Boyko going to do? He's going to give the ball to Figueroa again. Back to Pavlyuchenko in the middle. Boyko. Yeah, so one of the things was because we sold the Georgian fella and we sold Risso and we sold De Leon, we were left without a proper attacking midfield presence. So we're playing Pavlyuchenko there. He's very much not the kind of player that I would like to be playing there, but I can't have a foreigner there as well as all the places I do have foreigners, so he's just going to have to deal with it for now, and so are we. The plan will be, if we don't go up, get a decent Ukrainian to play that position for next season. If we do go up, then who cares, we'll just buy a Brazilian wonder kid and have him play there. But, you know, it is what it is. Buryi, save from Zamiakin. 44 minutes gone. First half, not much going on, really. But we came out the better half, let's say. We came out the better team, let's say calmly that. I mentioned in the last video that passionate team talks seem to do well for this team. And now in this video, that does seem to have been borne out. But in that one, I used passionate team talks for the 2 games where we drew and we lost, and they hated them. And in fact, Shalai, before we sold him, complained in the media. Complained in the media about my uninspiring team talks. So it was a little bit of irony that you missed, and I'm going to tell you about anyway, because I'm full of transparency. Nagini. Oh, come on. Oh, we could have had a second. We need to beat these because these are above us. Pavlyuchenko to Levchuk. Levchuk save from Polyakov, but Levchuk was offside. Squeaky chair boy. Right, 53 minutes gone. We've got Polyakov going in there, but no, straight to Zamiakin's hands. This is probably only going to be about as long as the normal set of videos that I do. I think if I didn't have people coming over imminently, I would record a second game as well, but I think this is just a bit of fun, see how we're doing. Weirdly, despite having sold half of our squad, it's Figueroa. You'd think with 17 finishing you'd have been better at that, but whatever. Weirdly, despite having sold half our squad, we seem to be doing okay here. Boyko out to Figueroa. Figueroa cuts the ball back. Levchuk. Pavlyuchenko fouls and is going to get a yellow. Right, who do we have in the team? So Galushkin's not playing well. Let's bring on Konstantinov. We've also got Boycott over there who's not doing well. Jeffrey Boycott. Or maybe I'll rename him to Jeffrey Boycott. Anyway, bring on 2 wingers. Change the wing play around a bit. Good free kick from Vukailovic, but hits the ball over the bar. And another corner. Headed wide. What's his name? Protsenko. Zamiakin. Levchuk wins the ball, gives it to Pavlyuchenko. Outspoken Sergei gives it to Pavlyuchenko, gives it to Lurpak the Butterman. Lurpak the Butterman out to Outspoken Sergei. Outspoken Sergei wins the ball back again to Pavlyuchenko. Lurpak the Butterman. Oh, it's such fun. Tibilov. Konstantinov. What a finish that is. Must be his first goal for the club. Is that his first goal? It might be his second goal, but what a bloody finish that is. What a finish that is. So the ball, I wasn't expecting that at all. Tibilov gives it to Konstantinov, who first time hits it straight into the top corner. Absolute beaut. How are we doing with everybody else? Pretty fine. We've got Kopsa who can come on, but Figueroa is playing very well. We don't have very much at the back. We could bring on Kornienko for Nagini. I think we're going to do that just to help us out there. 2-0, still playing the replay. Kornienko's coming off Nagini. Kornienko's coming on for Nagini. Maisus, Buryi. So this is a fantastic result for us. This puts us... Oh, and they've scored straight away. Generalov has scored against his former team. That's a shame. Yeah, I don't know what differentiates teams in the league. Clearly, it's not goal difference because we're way above. Oh, go on! Oh, it gone in. Absolutely, utterly questionable play there from... Was that Zhidanov who did that? He did. I don't know why he... Mamurov, who scored a lot of goals in our preseason. I don't know what on earth Zhidanov was doing there. But seems to have put the ball into the back of his own net. Polyakov can't do anything. It's a shame, but if we're 3-1 up against a team who were above us in the league, that's rare. Kornienko gives it to Konstantinov. Konstantinov shoots, hits the crossbar. We could have been 4-1 up. That could have been a turn up for the books. Again, not sure why we're below Gavela. Maybe it's about how many wins we've had in the league, because I think we've had less wins than them, but we've drawn more games. Sokolov, Maizus, Mamurov, big ball up, and Figueroa's there to run onto it. He's not going to get to it. Poliskov does, but Levchuk curls wide. Fortunate. Let's bring on Kopka for Figueroa now. That's our final substitution. Make sure that we don't lose Figueroa to injury at all. And maybe Kopka can get a goal as well. Put us 4-1 up. That'd be beautiful. Sokolov out to Zhdanov. Maizus, Timofeyev, Buryi, Generalov. I wish we still had Generalov, because that would solve some of our central midfield issues that we have. God, I wish I hadn't just released him. Lviv score a big victory today. A great win, boys. That was absolutely fantastic. That puts us up to... We're still in 4th, 3 points clear of 5th, Arsenal. For some reason, we're behind Govela. Let's just look now. Let's go to the league table, and then we go to rules. Where is it? Does it say? What does it? No. Oh, here you go. Games won. Yeah, so games won is the reason. So they've won, what is it? No, that's not what I said. Gaverla have won 2 more games than us, so that's why they're ahead of us, even though we have the same amount of points and a much superior goal difference. Anyway, so that's where we are. We've got these fixtures left until the end of the division. I think we'll probably come back for just the end. I mean, no one's that bothered about the Ukrainian First League, so we'll come back for Metalurg Donetsk and Nueva Vinnytsia, unless something exciting happens. So yeah, thanks guys for being around for this one, and see you in the next one. Bye.